Designing academic structures that allow students to reach their academic potential in first year at university is of key importance internationally in higher education. Universities have increasingly recognised the need to provide challenging academic environments, along with necessary academic support structures, to assist students making the successful transition into third-level thinking and learning. By the way, references to all literature and research referred to in these podcasts will be available in the Teaching Toolkit on ucd.ie/teaching. Kerry Lee Krause, Richard James and colleagues were commissioned by the Australian Government to carry out a large national longitudinal research of first-year students in Australian higher education. Their research ran over a period of 15 years, ending in 2009. There is much to learn from their work, as there are many similarities between the Australian and the Irish higher education systems. Both are modularised and semesterised, and their first-year cohorts are characterised by large numbers of young school leavers, many of whom still live at home. Krause and her colleagues show important data about the types of students who find it most difficult to settle into their studies in first year. They found that over a 10-year period, particular groups of students were the least likely to motivate themselves in their first year. These include younger students who are 19 years or less, school leavers who came straight to university without taking a gap year, students involved in full-time rather than part-time study, and students who do badly in their first assessment. As a university with undergraduate students who are in the main young, full-time students coming to university directly from school, we can see the challenges facing UCD in terms of first-year engagement. If we combine these factors with lower CAO scores associated with students in certain programmes, the risk of poor engagement rises again. Previous research on retention of UCD first-year students, carried out by Colleen Blaney and Susan Mulkeen, also suggested a correlation between lower scores in the Leaving Cert and risk of attrition. Ensuring that students feel part of a class cohort and a university community is seen as significantly important in helping students to stay in their course of study in first year. What is often referred to as achieving a sense of belonging for students has been shown to improve their confidence, leading to better academic performance. A group of the UCD Fellows in Teaching and Academic Development carried out a substantial study of first-year engagement in 2008 with more than 1,200 UCD first years. The Fellows team found that the biggest concern articulated by these first years was a fear of social isolation and not being able to make friends. It's a salutary thought that a number of our students will be in first-year classes that are larger than their entire secondary school, so such fears are not unfounded. It's tempting to think that students' concerns about social isolation are not connected with the work of academics. In fact, the provision of academic structures that improve a student's sense of belonging to their course of study improves not only their engagement with their study, but also the quality of that study itself. This places an onus on schools and programmes to think about how the gains of the initial welcome of the orientation week can be extended into the programme's academic first-year structure. In simple terms, it's worth designing classroom, tutorial or laboratory structures where first-year students can be taught in a way that allow them to get to know not only each other, but also the academic staff with whom they work. As one student put it recently, it was only when I realised that one of the academics knew my name, I felt that I was in the right place. Returning to our own institutional research, a 2010 review of academic student supports in UCD revealed that, after their family, UCD students consider academics and tutors as their most valuable source of advice and support. The second biggest anxiety expressed by 3 out of 10 of our own first years in the Fellows research related to academic concerns. Anxieties about whether they will be able to cope academically, or whether their course of study would be too difficult for them. In the large longitudinal Australian research, it was noted that if students are helped to come to terms with the standard of work expected of them and know how to prepare effectively for assessments, they are more likely to make a successful transition into university study. Krauss and her colleagues also noted a difference of outcome in universities that had improved their assessment practices and had put effort into preparing students to engage with their assessment tasks. In such universities, students became increasingly more realistic about their abilities and the amount of effort they would need to do in order to succeed. We look more closely at the whole issue of assessment and the impact of assessment type and load on the successful engagement of first-year students, particularly during the first assessment period, in a later episode. In essence, successfully engaging students in first year is a complex task. These are a cohort of students who need to be taught and assessed within well-structured educational environments, designed in awareness of what encourages and what hinders their capacity to learn. Only then can they function as engaged, intelligent students capable of reaching their potential. First year will only be significantly improved if we base module content and particularly assessment approaches on what has been proven in scientific research to help students perform at their best. This includes supporting them in developing a class and programme identity, providing them with clear academic goals and standards, offering them fast and instructive feedback on their progress, and underpinning it all with well-structured assessments. I hope that you enjoy this podcast and that it whets your appetite to look at some of the substantial teaching and curriculum development resources already available on our website. Subsequent monthly episodes will look at these and other important areas, so tune in and keep listening.